All right, welcome in. I'm Bobby Burton, joined by Rod Babers. I need to put Rod's name up here, my man.
That's all right.
Your name's up here. Then we got Jerry Hamilton as well. We're here live at the Co-op. It is, as Rod Enfield says, 1,438 minutes. He's counting it down now. That's a serious countdown.
I don't do math on air, so well done. I'll just take your word for it, Rod.
Well, hopefully by this time tomorrow, Colorado State will have started wilting in the Texas sun and humidity. But we are live from the University of Co-op. We're here on the Friday afternoon Longhorn Livestream. Every Friday, home game Friday, we're going to be at the Co-op from 3 to 4 on Friday afternoons, joining in with 40 Acres Apparel. We appreciate them. You can hear them in the background. That means somebody donated a scholarship money to the University of Texas students. That's a great stuff there. Rod, Jerry, as Rod Enfield says, 1,438 minutes away. We're excited about it. It's been a long slog this offseason. It has felt particularly long these last 2 weeks as we're waiting for this game, right? I mean, the Olympics got us through a little bit. Recruiting gets us through a little bit. Jaime Ffrench commits today. All that stuff is well and good. But, man, football is almost here. We get to go tailgating tomorrow. We get to see a little football, like real Longhorn action. What are your thoughts about this game, Rod B?
I'm excited about the game. I will say this offseason for me, actually, particularly, I thought it went by quicker than most offseasons because the team was actually really good. So you had that to reflect on. I feel like the offseason had a lot of buzz for Texas draft and the combine, Xavier Worthy, and then the video game cover. I felt like the Mavs actually made the finals. I felt like that was
there's something to it.
It didn't feel like a slow, dead season of sports for me, but that's because my teams were good. I'm a Texans fan, and Texans and the Longhorns have never been good at the same time. So I'm kind of giddy right now about football season. But anyway, getting back to it tonight, I do think tomorrow the Longhorns in action. I think ultimately 2 tests. It'll be a big test for the secondary starting off. And I think early on, I want to see how that Texas run game comes together. Obviously, with the losses of C.J. Baxter and Christian Clark, what the identity of that run game is going to look like. Who's going to take on what roles with the wide receivers? A lot of questions that I think a lot of Longhorn fans want a little bit more clarity with. And I think that's what people are going to be most compelled when they start watching this matchup tomorrow.
Our producer, Matt Hutchison, is here with us. Matt, when you get a chance, will you pull up the Jaime Ffrench Instagram post? Because Jerry Hamilton wants to talk about this because he absolutely loved this earlier today. Rod and I were talking a little bit about Jaime and what he brings to the table. As we talk about Jaime Ffrench, the young man that committed to Texas this morning, making 19 verbal commitments for the Longhorns, now a top 6 recruiting class in the country. What are your thoughts on Jaime Ffrench?
I think Jaime Ffrench is a complete receiver. I don't necessarily see any downside or liabilities in his skill set. I actually made an old school comparison to him, and it's crazy. I'm one of those guys that still goes and watch back some of the old NFL films back in the day, Jared. And I said there's a little Lynn Swan in.
I love that, Rod. I love that when you said that because I would have never thought about that. But you're right, kind of the way his body moves in the air.
Yes.
In the air.
Yes, he's very light on his feet. There's the balance and the agility for a guy like that especially on the boundary. They're playing that X receiver. He can play any position among your wide receiver core. I don't think he's relegated just to outside on the X, but he expands that boundary because of his catch radius and because of his body control. But his body control to me, I mean, like I said, very dancer-like with how agile and just how he can contort his body and Cirque du Soleil raise to go make catches on the football. I love that he attacks the football, never waits on it. Even when he could actually kind of run under it, you'll see him turn around and go attack the football. So I love Jaime Ffrench's game, man. A lot to, I think, like about him. And I think ultimately, whether it be the ball in his hands or him as a downfield threat, I think he fits. He's very compatible in certain systems.
Yeah, Tyler Rollo said that chain was fire, 100%. I think Chris Bennett said similar. By the way, Chris Bennett said in the chat he just got a Rod Babers rookie car. But dadgum, man, that's awesome. A rookie car to Rod Babers, man. You got to tweet out the photo of that. I know he will. But yeah, so I think, Rod, here's the thing. We haven't got the chance to talk to you since Jaime committed this morning, obviously. But in Khalid Lockett and Jaime Ffrench, Texas now has 2 guys that can turn a 50-50 ball into a 75-25 ball. Yep. And we've been talking about in the SEC, that's important because it's taller, longer corners in the SEC. If you just look at the NFL draft and the combine last year, it's pretty evident. So kind of talk about that as the change in conference, also as a change in size and type of wide receiver Sark may be looking for to go against those bigger defensive backs in the SEC.
Yeah, that's a good point. Sark usually likes small-ish, slight speed demons. I think he still covers that speed. I think Jaime Ffrench has some of that speed. Don't know if he has world-class top-end speed, but I do think, he's got enough to threaten every level of the passing game, short, intermediate, and the deep ball. But I think he does. I mean, he plays. The guys he's getting right now play bigger than their size. They may be a little smaller, but we talked about this with Silas Bowden. Plays bigger than their size. And I feel like that with Jaime Ffrench. When I watch him, especially when he's on that boundary, a guy like that expands the boundary for you, gives you a bigger target when you start thinking about it because of his catch radius and because of the way that he can big body DBs and put himself in great position to use that body control and his ability to just attack the football. Some guys, they tell DBs that needs to be something that you do all the time, attack the football. But seeing wide receivers is something that seems rare. To go up like he does, and I think his ball skills are also fantastic, uncanny ball skills. So I love everything that Jaime Ffrench's skill set has to offer. There's no doubt about it. He can be a guy that can really contribute early on because I don't see a lot of development that needs to take place for him to contribute right away.
I'm a big fan of his, and I go back to the thing that matters, and I'm a big proponent of playmakers, as is everybody that covers college football or any sport, right? But Jerry's comment about making a 50-50 ball a 75-25, that's what it's all about. And I talked about this morning, Jerry, on our Coffee and Football, about how the SEC is different, specifically at a couple of different positions. Like quarterbacks, I'll tell you, I think that the Big 12 has had historically as good a quarterbacks as the SEC. Historic, right? Running backs, they've been a little bit of both, right? There's been good wide, all these different positions. The one position that outside of Texas and maybe OU from time to time and maybe TCU, they haven't had the defensive backs that the SEC has had.
Yeah.
And so that makes better wide receiver play more imperative. Better 50-50 guys, more imperative. Better size, perhaps, more of a big deal. All right, before we go any further, I want to say thank you to our friends at the co-op. I mean, look, we've been here, Rod. This is going on our second year with our friends at the co-op. We appreciate them very much. We also appreciate 40 Acres Collection. You can actually see them behind us when we're on screen there. We want to introduce and welcome our newest sponsor, the University of Texas Co-op and 40 Acres Apparel. The University of Texas Co-op is a nonprofit. That's right, nonprofit, and has been serving the Longhorn community since 1896. Ooh. I repeat, 1896. Every penny of profit directly benefits course material scholarships. In fact, more than 7,000 students received free course material scholarships last academic year. 7,000 kids. That's great. 40 Acres Apparel, what Rod, myself, as well as Jerry are wearing right now, born in DKR, designed and built exclusively for the University of Texas and Longhorn Nation. Go down to the University of Texas Co-op, go to the University of Texas Co-op.com, and get geared up with 40 Acres Apparel. Great designs, fashionable, high quality, SPF 50, moisture wicking, all of that stuff. It's just a super good product. Looks great, feels great. 40 Acres is also a proud sponsor, along with Co-op, for the course material scholarships at the University of Texas. All right. I'll tell you what, we look at tomorrow in this game. We're going to take y'all's questions. Please get any and all questions in that you guys are able to get in and talk to us a little bit. We've got plenty of time here to answer them this afternoon. Rod, I'm going to ask you this question. This is simple. What was your first memory of coming to the University of Texas campus for a game? Because this is what kind of is happening. You probably came in on a Saturday, went back home to Houston, right? Or did you come in for a full weekend? I never came in for actually a game before. You did? You just came on your official visit? My official visit, and that was, I actually didn't experience a game until I was a player here at Texas, strangely enough. I really didn't need to see the game. Because I remember we went to the stadium and they put the jersey on you and they call your name out on the speaker and everything. So you get a little bit of the experience. But I never actually went to a game. I had my visit, and once I had my visit, that was enough for me. That's
Crazy
it.
enough,
You're,
yeah.
you're done.
Yeah, I was done. Matt told us that he was gonna fill in the stadium and everything like that. So we got the vision of what he wanted Texas football to be, but I didn't need to experience it firsthand.
Well, let me ask you this. This is a good question then.
Yeah.
You didn't actually experience Texas game day
No,
until you became a
so I was a player.
post grad.
Yeah, yeah. Other
I mean,
than being a
because
player,
you-
you're right. I didn't experience that until I was on. Actually, strangely enough, yeah, I was doing sidelines first before I went to a game as a fan.
Really?
So I didn't go back into an experience as a fan until probably 2013 or 14, actually.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, crazy. I know. I apologize, Longhorn fan. But then I actually understood it, and I always encourage Texas football players, go back as a fan so you experience it as a fan so you know what they go through. Especially the games like Texas OU, Texas versus Arkansas on the road. You gotta go experience that high-style environment that our fans have to deal with. Yes, the players deal with it. We know the rules of engagement on the field, but when fans go to Texas OU, guys, that is commitment. When fans go to Texas, Arkansas, and they go down to Fayetteville, that is commitment. When they're going down to Aggie Land this year, guys, they are committed. They're putting their lives in their own hands, their safety in their own hands, bringing their kids down there with them. Hey, I got so much respect for Longhorn fans after I went back as a fan myself. Now I know how devoted our fan base is.
You're not a Texas fan until a beer's been thrown on you. In
Yes.
the
you almost getting a fight down at the West End. You're
That
like,
is
why
true.
am I fighting? My kids are here. What's going on?
That's good. Hey, one of the new things they're doing this year, we've been talking about this, is the Flat Creek Estate Winery is going to create a new zone, like a wine garden, in the north, just north of the stadium, in between the stadium and Bass Concert Hall. And Flat Creek Estate Winery is award-winning wine. They have the Super Tex, and they have a lot of great vintage. One of their owners and one of the proprietors is joining us here, and she is a Longhorn and a former Dallas Cowboy cheerleader, by the way. Look, Eva, how you doing? Eva's joining us here at Flat Creek. What's going on, Eva?
Hey, man, we're down here at the stadium getting ready for game day. It's a big. Check this out.
There you go.
I don't know if you can see. We're building.
I love it, Eva. Thanks for joining us. Hey, tell us a little bit about what your plans are for the wine garden over at DKR this year.
Oh, it's so exciting. Let me tell you, Bobby, this is the first time ever, too. So we're sponsoring with the Athletics. We're setting up a wine garden, the Flat Creek Estate Wine Garden. It's actually at Trinity and Delos Dodds. So, right where the Midway runs down, shades, live music. We got TVs going, frosés, because, it's Texas, man. It's 100 degrees out here. And absolutely. And all the Flat Creek wines, not all, but select few, our award-winning wines will be happening out here. And there's actually seating. So for all of us old people that like to sit down for a minute and enjoy, you got some chairs. Yeah, we'll leave the youngins to stand up. We've got some of those too. But yeah, we've got a big shaded area. We're just gonna rock it out every game. Every home game will be here.
Oh, we can't wait to get down there. I'll be down there tomorrow, starting around 12:30. Jerry Hamilton and myself. I'm gonna hold you to that shade part. Okay.
It becomes a coveted little area when you come down here. But no, we're excited. We've had such a great relationship working with the athletics department. We've got amazing ads, going inside. They have been so great to work with. We're very excited. There'll be beer in here too. So if you're not a wine drinker, come on down and enjoy. We've got live music starting at 10 o'clock tomorrow. And it's just going to be fun. I mean, this is a big year for UT, man. And, Neil and I both, I mean, we're UT guys. Yeah, we're alumni from the school. We love it. We're supporting it. I even got I got the old school cap.
You have the old school cap on. You got the old school cap. I like it.
Gotta keep some traditions alive, It's all right. But yeah, we're excited and we welcome everybody. It's open, it's just a big tailgate party. Come on down, join us. And it's actually, you can see we're right across from the front door. So it's easy to get to. You're gonna be down here anyway. So come see us. We'll be
Eva, thank you so much. We will definitely be down there. You tell Neil hello, tell Sean hello, of course.
I
as well.
will. Are you going to be in the area?
Yep, we'll be down there. Yep,
we'll be down there.
Come find us. We'll be. I'm sure Neil will have some fancy little frozen drink, something pretty with some colors in it. You know, I'll have a beer or something or my wine, and he'll be doing that because you know Neil.
Tell Neil that's right up my alley. I'm very excited about that.
I like
we're gonna
fancy
have some
frozen
fun,
drinks.
and hopefully it'll cool off just a little bit. So we're supposed to be on the 80s tomorrow, so we'll be excited. Hook
All
up,
right.
baby, hook up.
Hook up. Take care, Eva.
Thank
Love
you.
your
All
excitement. Love it. That's what it's all about, man.
That's great.
Right there, having a little fun.
We can probably go home now. We can't follow that up.
What's that?
We can
We can
probably
all
go home.
home. We can't follow that enthusiasm. Yeah, I agree with that.
Oh, and I love little frozen drinks that look fancy and that's really colorful. I know I'm a man, but that's all right. And that does challenge my masculinity to drink.
No, I'm proud of it. You give me a Malibu coconut rum and a Diet Pepsi and sit me by the beach, and I'm a happy dude, man.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that Frosé tomorrow. All right, folks. But let me tell you a little bit about wine. Our friends over at Flat Creek Estate Winery. Home of the most awarded wine in Texas right now. That's the Super Texan. So if you haven't tried the Super Texan, try it for yourself. It is fantastic. They have it at your local Specs. It's also available at your local Central Market. My wife was really excited about that. She does our grocery shopping there. She saw Flat Creek and was like, hey, they got my favorite wine. Super Texan. It is great. It's also, like I said, available at Specs and at Central Market. And of course, Flat Creek also is a gorgeous venue. Homes of great barbecues and wine tastings every single weekend. Great for a getaway with your significant other or for a weekend getaway with your significant other. Either way, check it out for yourself. FlatCreekEstate.com. That's FlatCreekEstate.com. Check out their fantastic inventory of wine. I actually love the rosé. I don't know how the Frosé tastes. The Frosé tastes like the rosé, then it is fantastic. But the Super Texan, it's great. And also, they got a lot of really good wines there from Flat Creek Estate. And some of them will be available at the Flat Creek Wine Garden tomorrow. Starting up early. They'll be up there early, man. So come out there. And
10
check it out.
a.m. is when the music starts, you said.
Hey, that's you can drink some wine at 10
Hey,
a.m.
I'll be there at 9. I'll be there at 9:50. Come find me.
Hey, this is another example of Texas and Chris Del Conte, those guys. It's like the whole reason I asked you that question about what it's like around the stadium and what you thought it was like versus what the reality is as a player. I think in my 30 plus years, right, of coming to Texas games, etc., the atmosphere has gotten better.
Yes, no doubt. No question.
I remember it was kind of the upper deck wouldn't be filled before Mac got here at times. Especially on games that weren't big games, you know what I mean? The crowd's gotten louder. They piped in. They've got great. I mean, whether it's not even pyrotechnics anymore, it's drones. You know, they got all this stuff that adds to the ambiance. Being here at the Co-op, I think it's one of those places where you just want to be and come in, get your gear before the season gets started. Yeah. It's walk down the drag, that sort of thing. Is just all great about it.
Hey, Bobby, we need to give some driving advice if you're coming from Houston because you ran into it yesterday. So give anybody coming up from Houston a little advice on which way to not go tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm just going to tell you this, and this actually goes out to Jake Faust because he and I were talking about it yesterday, which way I should drive. I would not go I-10 through 71 tomorrow.
Really? That's my route.
That's my route too, yeah. And the reason why is because they've got all kinds of construction going on I-10 just east of Columbus. So it took me about 45 minutes yesterday at around 9 o'clock getting through Columbus. I can't imagine what it's going to be like tomorrow on a game day. And then they were also doing some asphalt work on 71 that took me another 15 minutes to get through around Smithville. So I would think, I'm just telling you, if you guys are listening here from Houston, I know you want to go 70. I know you want to go I-10 to 71 because that's the fastest way, at least it is for me.
I told him.
You might want to think about going 290 or finding another way. It really might. All right, hey, let's take some questions.
Let's do it.
And let's talk a little Longhorn football. That's what a lot of people like to do. Let's start with Cisco Diaz. Other than a win tomorrow, what are your expectations for the Texas football team?
Can I jump in on this?
Go for it, dude.
Texas has to own the line of scrimmage tomorrow. If you don't own the line of scrimmage tomorrow, not good. There's a chance you're not going to own the line of scrimmage in Ann Arbor. Texas has to own the line of scrimmage. I think the other thing Sark hit on for me, and it's why I'm taking the over, even though I'm not betting on it, but I am taking Texas to put up some points and cover on this game. Is Sark? he made a point in his Monday press conference saying we did not play up to our standard against Y/. The pre-snap penalties, the illegal motion, all those things. He wants a cleaner game. I think he'll get a cleaner game tomorrow, despite a lot of new faces. He's put an emphasis on that. I think he wants a fast start. But the key to me is we can talk about interceptions, who scores first touch, and all that. But the defensive front and the offensive line, they need to dominate this game tomorrow. Colorado State is down on defensive linemen. They lost their best guy to the NFL. We had one of the beat writers on this morning. One of their would-be starters is out with a toe injury. This was a team that was already down 3 of their top 4 or 5 from last year. Now they're down another one. Texas needs to own the line of scrimmage tomorrow, both sides of the ball.
What do you think? What's your one thing? Or what were other than a win?
I would like to see the secondary win the day, if you will, up against an air raid attack. I remember going up against air raid attacks like Texas Tech and back in the day. And, basically as a group, as a unit, that was a challenge, all right, to the defensive backfield. Anytime you face the air raid, it's a challenge to the defensive backfield. All right, and your pass defense, something Texas last season was, let's be honest, they were below average, subpar pass defense. They upgraded talent-wise in the secondary. They've upgraded, I think, their philosophy in the secondary. Starts talking about versatility, moving things around that secondary. So I want to see the secondary respond. You're going up against an NFL wide receiver, quarterback Braden Nicolosi, bit of a gunslinger. He'll throw you a few, but he's got some talent. If Texas can't corral this passing attack, it'll make me wonder if they've truly made the strides in the offseason. They got one guy, basically, that can hurt you, that can beat you. And if Texas lets that one guy beat them, I'd be a little bit disappointed. Schematically, because you should be able to take one guy away.
Well, I listened to you and Coach Shipley talk on Winning Drive quite a bit. You guys have both been hard on the secondary a little bit. And I'm not saying it's unwarranted.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that at all. But I got news for you. This is something Jerry and I learned this morning. Terrence Brooks, who started at Texas, he did not start for Illinois yesterday.
Wow.
I mean, and so at some level, you wonder what's the personnel situation if he's not even starting at Illinois, which is not they're okay. They're an okay team. They're a Power 4 team, but they're not elite, not in the secondary.
Ohio State or anything.
No, exactly. And so, what does that really mean?
It's fair.
So I think the secondary for me, I think my expectation is what I want to see as we hear another person get some donation for a scholarship is I want to hear and see some camaraderie / rapport with the receivers and the running backs and the tight ends. How Sark, we've talked about Amari Knight, for example, and Jaden Blue involved in. How is he going to meld all that together tomorrow? Yeah, my guess is it'll be hit or miss a little bit, right? I mean, that's just the first game thing. But I want to see how he melts it all together and kind of develops that into a true threat come football time. All right, we got AJJ coming up. Jerry, this one's going to be this is the hot take he asked for. His is Ryan Wingo scores more than one touchdown.
Ooh,
his is they
like
score
that.
more
that's good.
than one touchdown.
Hot take for the Colorado State game.
Yep.
That's a good hot take, AJJ. And thank you for the super chat. I'll go with a non-offensive touchdown. Do I need to be more specific about the non-offensive touchdown?
Probably.
Okay. How about
like Alfred Collins batting a pass and taking it home, like in the spring game?
Big man touchdown. That's the rarest of touchdowns. I won't go there with a big man touchdown. I'll go kick return touchdown with a Silas Bowden or Matthew Golden.
Dude, Jerry called this morning.
Wait, sorry, Jerry. I stole it.
I have Texas deferring and Silas Bolden returning a punt for a touchdown.
Okay, I'll go to something else then. You're right.
You're good. No, great minds think alike sometimes. Hey, here's the thing I want to say about wide receivers real quick. Ryan Wingo, again, these games for a freshman. He's going to come into the game, and the strength of Colorado State, Rod, is their safeties. And I'm not saying they don't have good corners. They have experienced corners. But Ryan Wingo comes in, and Jonte Kuku had a great final third of fall camp, by the way. Silas Bolden, Matthew Golden, who's really come on the last half of camp, Isaiah Bond. DeAndre Moore, they've all been running routes. These Colorado State guys have already been playing some maybe 10, 15 snaps. Then they bust Ryan Wingo and his speed onto the field in a favorable matchup. I think Ryan Wingo could have it may be the second half of this game. I think he could have a really big day tomorrow once these Colorado State corners start to feel their legs a little bit.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
Hot take, 5 snaps.
5 snaps. I'll go with
Or 5 sacks, not 5 snaps. There we go.
Appreciate it.
There we go. Yeah, we're happy to.
Thank you guys. Look at horns. I'll say that about your point about the safeties. I've been watching Jack Howell. Man, he's a player. He's an all first team conference caliber player. His dad he's a legacy. His dad was a 3-year starter there at Colorado State. This is the thing I worry about with experienced safeties, because Henry Blackbird is also very experienced back there. And that's, to me, that's the strength of the defense. I'm with you, Jerry. The back 5 is kind of the strength of the defense. They can use manipulation and disguise really well. Veteran safeties know where they need to be, alignment, assignment. They're very sound that way. So they can play some mind games, the chess match within the game with Quinn Ewers. And a lot of what Quinn Ewers is reading, especially in the RPO game and in his pre-snap, is going to be where those safeties are, where they rotate pre and post-snap. They could try to play some games and potentially win some of those games with Quinn Ewers if they're able to manipulate some of the pre-snap shell disguise. And that shouldn't be as much of a factor with Sark being able to talk to his young quarterback pre-snap as well. Should be able to dismiss some of that, that advantage they could get with the disguise.
Yeah.
So what's your hot take?
Oh, I'll go with non-offensive. I'll go with a pick 6 though. He's thrown 16 interceptions as he did last season. He's a bit prone to ill-advised throws. If Texas puts enough pressure on him and they got tight enough coverage, small passing windows, I think Texas could pick one up. Because remember, 51% of his passes are from 0 to 9 yards. So he's throwing quick game, slant, hitch, smoke, quick out routes. Texas sits on one of those routes. Because if I'm a DB watching this film, I'm sitting a lot. Because they're a bad deep ball passing team. They're not good at it. They were 105th in deep ball passing grade by Pro Football Focus. They only threw like 71 deep passes and connected on less than 30% of them, or around 30% of them on the season. So they're not great at that, but they're really good. Their bread and butter, their comfort zone is a short, quick game. Every now and then, I wouldn't be surprised Malik Muhammad, if he's sitting on one of them quick routes, take it to the house.
Y'all want my hot take? I got one. All right, Cam Ward, I just looked it up. So Colorado State, their experience in the secondary. Cam Ward at Washington State threw for 451 last year. Shedeur Sanders threw for like 370-ish in an overtime game. Here's my hot take. I think Quinn's going to have a really good day, 250, 300 through the air tomorrow, but Texas wants to run the football. But because Sark is still trying to figure out this receiver rotation and get these new guys implemented in the offense, I think Arch is going to throw for 150 and 2 touchdowns tomorrow.
Oh, Jerry has no qualms throwing out a hot take.
No shame at all.
None.
Cam Ward threw for, Colorado State, for experience as their secondary is, after losing the guy that had 13.5 sacks last year, by the way, to the NFL. They gave up 830 or 40 passing yards against Power 5 opponents to start the season.
Yeah, where's the pass rush going to come from Colorado State? I don't mean to be arrogant, but there's no proven commodity.
Yeah, they said that they're young on the defensive line. Their beat writer said that today. Here's one from Jose Hozan. Hey, guys, I used to work right down the street at the Wells Fargo. I think I had my account there when I was in school. I used to do the change orders for Victory Lap, and they would hook us up with some beer, hook them, and God bless. Hey, after we leave here, we're going down to the Victory Lap. By the way, just so you know, we'll be down there for about an hour and a half. If you want to join us, drink a little flight beer. It's some fun, guys. Thanks, Jose. I appreciate your discussion there. Hey, this one from Brandon Farrell. I think I want to mention this because Sark brought this factor home yesterday for us. Any important details to consider with the new helmet communication for offense and defense? One bit of news that happened yesterday afternoon. Sark did confirm that it's going to be Anthony Hill with the defensive headset communication. As far as nuances are concerned, you were Rod, you or Jerry have anything that you're thinking there?
Sark thinks it's overblown. Remember, he said that yesterday. He thinks the media is kind of we're kind of exaggerating the advantage that could be had with this headset communication. I don't think it's going to be that much an advantage for the defense at all. I do think it's an advantage for quarterbacks, particularly with pre-snap diagnosis, and I think that's where the advantage is. But maybe Sark's right. Maybe it's not that big.
I had a college coach. I can't remember who it was on a show I was watching earlier this week. Said it's really good for first year or young quarterbacks. Yeah. So the play caller can communicate with those guys. So maybe, and I still stand by this, on the road in a hostile environment, I think it's going to make a difference. When Quinn and Sark are at A&M, I think it helps in that environment. But to this coach's point, whoever said that, if you have a young quarterback, a first-year starting quarterback on the road, I can see that making a big difference in communication from the play caller and a young quarterback.
All right, Double D is asking, where's On Texas football going to be pregame? I may stop by. We just talked about Flat Creek Estate Winery. We're going to be there from we'll probably stop by over there around 12 o'clock, be there until about 1:30. We have a pregame show Jerry and I are doing there. Then we're going to be up at the Surly Horns as well as On Texas football tailgate up on the LBJ lawn. I cannot give you the exact location of that, but it's literally on the corner, right next to where the band comes in, around 45 minutes before the game. So we'll be up there going back and forth. Jerry likes to run around and ride all the rides on Bevo Boulevard. He gets up on the I'm not kidding now. Do you think I'm kidding?
I do.
I am kidding. He would do it if he gave him a chance.
Like to taste all the food that's on Bevo Boulevard.
Hey, if Jerry could do that and get away with it and nobody make fun of him, he would go ride all those.
He's a thrill seeker.
Yes. I can't hear you, Russ. What'd you say?
Oh, I'd go live from the Ferris wheel. There's no doubt.
You go live from the Ferris wheel.
That would be pretty badass. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes,
I would be into.
We got to do that at the state fair.
That would be pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, we got to do that.
Hey, we got to get to this question. Oh, we got the super chat. Then I want to get to Steve Hannon's question because he's got. We got to ask Rod about this one too.
Okay.
All right.
Hold on one second. Let's get to Justice first there, Jared. Guys, give some early top performers for tomorrow. My pick will actually be on the sideline, Coach Nansen. Wow. Hey, I told you 5 sacks.
That is.
So I'm in line with Justin. He needs to be the glue the secondary has needed the past few years. Hey, now, Rod, that Nansen learned from Dwayne Aquina. He did. And I talked to Coach Aquina at one point last year, and there's no doubt that they worked symbiotically for that Arizona defense, and he felt like Johnny Nansen really had a good feel for it. And so we'll see exactly what it means. Although obviously Blake Gideon, Terry Joseph, the secondary coaches, may be getting pressure though in a variety of ways and running several different kind of, I don't want to say gimmick, but different looks, exotic looks. Might actually be what the doctor ordered for that secondary.
I think that's exactly what we're going to get. Now, I don't know how often we're going to see these exotic because Arizona pulled them out every week. I mean, every week Arizona was the most exotic and the most multiple defense in the country. So I don't know if we're going to get that consistent, kind of exotic looks and presentations from the defense. But I will say, Sark has hinted that they're going to have better pre-snap disguise with opposing quarterbacks. He hinted that's going to happen. And I don't know if you guys have noticed it, but I've been talking about it. I'm sure you guys have noticed how the new buzzword for Sark when describing and talking about the secondary is versatility. Versatility. He's talking about it a ton in recruiting. This latest recruiting class where you have with 5 DBs in it. He describes all of them as versatile, position flex, and he continues to reiterate that. Now they're talking about it in development. So not only in recruiting, talent acquisition, we're talking about versatility as a top priority, but also in development with Janae Barron. He's even remarked that Janae Barron could play every position in the secondary versus Colorado State.
Yeah.
He said tomorrow he could end up playing safety and nickel and corner. So I think if you want to throw it back to Coach Aquina called it the 5-tool DB. And essentially it was his evolutionary adaptation to the air raid. He said, I need DBs on the field that all of them can cover and all of them can tackle, which is why Quentin Jammer ended up moving from safety to corner, and Nathan Basher went from nickel to safety to corner, and Ahmad Brooks in the secondary I played in went from corner to safety. He wanted everybody to make sure that you could tackle and that you could cover, so there wasn't a matchup disadvantage either way from the air raid they could try to find. And it worked out well. That's what led to your Aaron Williams and your Huff Daddies and your Kenny Vaccaros and these really versatile position flex players, even when they got to the NFL. And by the way, they're still there. Quandre Dix is still in the league, position flex guy. PJ Locke still in the league, position flex guy. Brandon Jones is a position flex guy. Here, Ryan Watts is a guy that looked at as a safety in the league, but also a guy that got corner tendencies and corner skill sets. So I think ultimately it's a throwback philosophy. This is retro. This is something that Coach Aquino was looking at when he adapted to the Big 12. I think it's something that now Sark is looking at as a way to provide him with more solutions, more options, manufactured depth, but also a developmental cheat code, if you will, with guys. And if you can cross-train them in different positions, not only is it going to manufacture depth for you, offer you more solutions, but also it's going to give you versatility and formation and personnel usage, whether you're talking about moving guys from the safety down to linebacker depth, or I talk about a guy like Jay Barron who can play any position in the secondary. I think that's what Coach Sark is going for, that old Coach Aquino.
Hey, I want to add one thing before we go further on the secondary talk or talk about the early top performers. Scotty Hazelton, working specifically with the nickels, the former defensive coordinator at Michigan State, came in, and for Coach Sark, he is literally just working with the nickels right now. And that is absolutely new. I'm interested to see what that means up top. What all does that bring to the table? Because now you have 3 essentially DB coaches. That's a lot. I mean, and they should be able to be more nuanced because of it. Theoretically. Hey, as far as top performers tomorrow, I had these guys early: Quinn Ewers, Jaden Blue, Amari Niblack, Anthony Hill, and I went with Baron Sorrell.
Nice.
I think a young man. Remember 2 years ago he had a great first game, and then didn't get as many sacks last year. I think he's ready for a little bit of a comeback year on the sack trail, because the person opposite him is going to be causing a little bit more havoc too. Going to flush him a little more to his side. That's a little bit of that. What do y'all have for early top performers, Jerry?
Silas Bolden. I think it's a return game, on the move, playing on the move with the ball, putting them in positions to make plays after the catch. Jaden Blue and Trey Wisner in this game, because I do think Sark is going to say we can't, even though Cedric Baxter's out, and Jarrett Gibbs will get his opportunities, we have to establish an identity running the football, because he's always been a 53% run game. So Texas is going to run the football. They want to win at the line of scrimmage, establish the run game, then use Jaden Blue out of the backfield catching the football. So I have both those running backs. But again, that Colorado State defensive line I think is in trouble tomorrow. So I think both those running backs, Silas Bolden, return game and receiving. And I'm going to go a little big here on defense for my guy. I'm going to go with Gavin Holmes.
Oh,
Wow.
He may be the pick 6 guy for you.
That'd be awesome.
Hey, Rod, it goes, and I'm doing this because I listen to you, man, my man. Are they going to challenge Manny Muhammad as much? No. They're going to challenge the guy on the other side. So Gavin Holmes, you're going to get a lot of opportunities tomorrow. What are you going to do with that?
Yeah, especially if they don't want to shadow Torrey Horton.
Yeah,
I put Torrey Horton opposite Malik Muhammad, or I'd put him where Jalen Gilbo is. Try to avoid Jadae Barron. Try to avoid Malik Muhammad. Colorado State.
All right, hey, we want to get to Steve Hannon's question. Just one second, Jerry.
That's the one.
I got this one first that I want to, because this one's funnier. Even though I like Steve's question the best. Jerry Hamilton on the Tilted World with a Mai Tai slushing about. That would be. And wait a minute, Mai Tai and the umbrella in the drink. You forgot that part too.
That's key.
But Bobby had the funniest comment of all up earlier in this chat. It was the best one about what do you do? No drinking and manscaping. That's 100% true.
That was, I saw that from Bobby. It was from Bobby Betronic, right? He was like, he's like, no drinking before you manscape. There you go. Never drinking manscape before you know. You're right.
Hey, here's Steve.
That'll ruin your Saturday.
Watching Jonah's highlights from last night, Rod. Jonah Williams scored 5 touchdowns.
Hold on, what?
5 touchdowns. Oh, you didn't see these.
Jonah Williams scored 5.
Let me give them to you. First touch of the year was a kick return for a touchdown.
That one.
Okay. Then he came back and scored 2 rushing touchdowns, 2 receiving touchdowns.
And blocked an extra point.
and blocked an extra point.
Wow.
You think maybe he's a baller?
I mean, dang.
That sounds like a
And
baller.
Rod against Manville, who's not a scrub. Against Manville, they pulled him out.
Yeah.
They played Manville.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So he's going to be are we going to think he's the next Travis Hunter for Texas then? They're going to play him on both
It's
sides
already
of the ball.
started in the chat. They want him at wide receiver now, too. Hey, Blake Gideon will be like, look, Sark, you got enough guys over there. Just can I have one? Can I have one that's full-time safety here?
I'll settle for him being a 2-sport start, but I will say, I said he could win the Thor. That's how good he is. I don't want to go in some long, detailed analysis about him. He's good enough to win the Thor. That's enough said. That's how high the upside is for him.
Man, that is look. There are talented players, and then there are talented players. Texas got another one today. Jaime Ffrench, we talked about that a little earlier. Jonah Williams, Khalid Lockett, a 5-star as well. Sark has killed it. And killed it is not the right word because he did lose out on Michael Fasusi. But he just continues to prove doubters or worriers is the better even word, right? As opposed to doubters. He continues to prove them wrong. I was speaking at a Houston deal yesterday, and one of the questions was about whether or not he has too many offensive players right now as opposed to defensive players. Fair question because he does. But you know what? That was kind of the case last year too, and all of a sudden Xavier Filsaime comes along. The year before that, Anthony Hill comes along. You know, we thought Josiah Sharma had went to Oregon, then he comes back to Texas. All of a sudden, it keeps coming in. I just feel like you can say what you want, but doubting him in recruiting is not going to win you any. I think he's proven that he's got an idea of what he's trying to do and how he's going to do it. And it's not always the quickest route or even the safest route. I want to say that too. It's more challenging. It's more treacherous, but he'll do it.
Seems like he's betting on himself a lot of times.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
Jerry and I talked about this. I mean, he's going to do it, and, you know, he's going to roll the dice.
Yeah.
And you know what? When you're Texas, I think he thinks that you can do it. When he was at USC, you can do it at those kind of places.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty good stuff, in my opinion. Pretty good stuff. All right, we need to say thank you to our sponsors today, the folks over at 40 Acres. We want to introduce you and welcome our newest sponsor, 40 Acres Apparel. 40 Acres Apparel was born in DKR, designed and built exclusively for the University of Texas and Longhorn Nation. Go down to the University of Texas Co-op or go to universityoftexascoop.com and get geared up with 40 Acres Apparel. Good designs, fashionable, high quality, SPF 50, that's important tomorrow. Moisture wicking, that's also important tomorrow. Or any Texas football game, really, for me. It's just a super good product. Looks great, feels great. We're wearing it all here today. 40 Acres is also a proud sponsor of the Course Material Scholarship for UT students that the Texas Co-op itself puts on. Over 7,000 students last year, Rod, received free course material scholarships in the 23-24 academic year. Just great stuff. We appreciate not only the University Co-op, but also 40 Acres Apparel for making that happen for so many young students. All right, we got more news and notes to get to. Who is that?
Wow.
I don't know who that is. Number 31. You had to take 31.
It was Jason Seymour's number, I think. I think they thought I was gonna, replace the last right wino, and it didn't happen, man. I apologize. To all the
Look how long your arms look on that card, Rod. Look how long your arms look.
I know. I mean, I'm in my prime right there, man. That's prime Rod B right there. And oh man,
Who was number 21 on that team? Why did you let
I don't even remember now. Actually,
21's more of a running back number in the NFL.
Was it Tiki
yeah,
Barber?
LT.
Yeah, now it is. You're right.
Yeah.
Was it Tiki Barber? Or was that
Tiki Barber? Is that the Giants?
Yeah, you might have been right about that.
Yeah, you're not getting that
You
one.
might be right.
He was Mr. Dior. I mean, he had a morning show.
Yeah, no, trust me. I hadn't heard enough street credit yet. I don't know why I got 31. I was a little too cool for Rodney.
All right. Hey, Jay Lee comes in here and talks a little bit. We were talking about people that might surprise. I've been talking about him for a while with Alfred Collins, who Jay Lee is mentioning here. I think Alfred Collins lets people know he's serious on Saturday. I think he lets them know he's serious this whole year. That's what I've been told.
I love that.
And I've tried to communicate that the best way possible. But until he actually proves it,
Right.
we've been talking about him like, hey, we hope he does. We hope he does. He could be. I think that this is the year that he will be. Now, I don't know if he'll be a first-round pick or anything. I'm not going there like what happened, how big Tavondre and Byron Murphy blew up. I'm not expecting that, and I don't think that's fair to put that sort of load on a kid or responsibility. My point is, I do think he's headed in the right direction. Seriously, in the right direction. So.
Yeah. We should watch out for deflected passes. We should have a lot of deflected passes, guys. Just like the one Alfred Collins had in the spring game that led to a big man touchdown. Nicolosi gets the ball out on average 2.6 seconds. But when he's throwing the ball from 0 to 9 yards, the short area where that's his bread and butter, 2.3 seconds is his average time to throw. You may not get there to the quarterback. Usually takes you close to 2.5 seconds. So you have to get your hands up, clog, and congest those passing windows. With a guy as big and as long and the frame of Alfred Collins, he should be congesting a lot of passing windows if he can't get there tomorrow with the pass rush.
You know the way I have it broken down? Hey, Bob, guys, you know the way I have it broken down? I have it broken down in 3 parts with the edge and defensive line, especially edge tomorrow, Rod. First quarter, quarter and a half is you play on their side of the line of scrimmage and you get your hands up, right? Maybe you get a hit. Maybe you change and disrupt some timing. Second quarter through middle of the third, you start – the offensive line's tired. You start to get some hit. Middle of the third, fourth quarter, when those guys' tongues are dragging, you start to get sacks. I kind of think it's going to be – it could be 3 pieces tomorrow. Now, there could always be an assignment bust and somebody gets a free run. Yeah. But now Trey Moore will have a plan, by the way. But to your point, Rod, I think early in that game – because they're going to get it out quick. They only gave up 14 sacks as a team last year, which is one of the lowest in the country. So that means, and they're going to try to get it out quicker tomorrow. So what do? Ethan Burke, you get your big wingspan up, and you get in those passing lanes. Aaron Sorrell, you get some push, and then you get your hands up in the passing lanes. And as those offensive tackles get a little more tired, then you start hitting your go button.
All right. Look, we've got a lot of stuff going on here. I want to get to Cam Dicker, by the way, in a minute here. But before we do that, Don Gregory, any chance you fellas bring back call-ins?
Our producer wants us to.
Yeah, our producer, Matt, does not like call-ins, just for the record.
No producer like call-ins.
He's like, this is not a thing you want to do. We tried it, and it didn't work. And he's like, okay, we don't have to do it anymore.
Let's seriously. If Texas beats Michigan next week, we need to allow some call-ins.
Oh, yes. And Matt says yes to that. He gave us a thumbs up. Yeah. Our day. Also, P.S. Blake Monroe does a great job in the morning. Yeah, I would agree with him 100%. Yeah, good stuff there. All right. Now, I mentioned this earlier. Someone got paid today. And when I say paid, I mean paid. $12.5 million guaranteed. $22.5 million over 4 years. He becomes one of the top 5 paid kickers in the NFL. Wow. Cameron Dicker, the man who may have broke Kyler Murray, by the way, at least for a week or two, because Kyler had never lost.
Seriously.
But Cameron Dicker, wow, $22.5 million, 12.5 guaranteed, 4-year deal. To tell you how good a deal that is, Justin Tucker is the highest paid kicker in the league. He's only at $24 million a year. All right, $24 million total.
So the moral of the story is
Dicker got 22.
The moral of the story is if you're a good young kicker in America, move to Austin ISD and go to Westlake or Lake Travis.
Yes. I got to say this. The difference between those two salaries: 4 years for 22 for Dicker, 4 for 24 for Tucker. Tucker's was 2 years ago. So he's going to get re-upped, right? And Tucker got $17 million guaranteed versus $12.5 guaranteed. And so, literally, that's a big difference.
What's the taxes like?
Well, what's the taxes like in Westlake and Lake Travis? A little bit more.
No state tax though.
Hey, by the way, I have one more comment on the call-ins, just in case anybody. Any Clemson fans out there watching? I know Dabo won't take Collins anymore.
Yeah.
But if Georgia gives Clemson a thumping, we may have. We'll let you call in and talk to us about it.
Wow.
We'll be the support system.
Yeah, we'll be the sounding board.
I'm in for that portal party.
Hey, guys, let's have some final thoughts on Colorado State. We got about 10, 15 minutes left here. Colorado State, Texas tomorrow, 2:30. Longhorns trying to build on a 12-2 season from a year ago. Steve Sarkisian entering just his 4th year, by the way. 3 years in, he takes them to the college football playoff. Texas moving to the SEC is part of the process here. A situation that Texas didn't know about, and our Texas Steve Sarkisian didn't know about until maybe a little bit after. What are y'all's thoughts on this football season, this football team heading into year 4, and what it all means for Texas, and how important is it for Texas to win? I say this: win at least 10 this year. You don't want them to go back, right?
No regression.
No regret. That's a great way to put it. No regression. That may be the single biggest thing for me for the entire year. No regression. I want to see us move forward. Now, that doesn't mean that they have to win 12 games or any of that stuff. I just don't want to see slinking back to 8-4 or something like that, right? That's the biggest piece probably that I want to see, because I do think that this is a program on the rise, and that's going to allow them to push forward. Yeah.
Hey, say hello behind to you guys. That's Ty Larson, Director of Recruiting, Texas Basketball.
Good to see you guys are doing. I appreciate it. Yeah. Thanks for having us.
What's up, Jerry?
What's going on, Ty? How are you?
We're ready for tomorrow. It's going to be good.
Absolutely.
Nice. My
Appreciate
man.
you guys.
Be good, bud. Y'all have a good one.
Yeah.
Hey,
Cameo,
basketball's got a 5-star visitor this weekend. Isaiah Harwell, 6'6" shooting guard out of Wasatch Academy up in Utah. He's on campus, an unofficial basketball visitor. Trevor Gooseby, Austin Gooseby. Austin Goosby's on campus, of course, to watch his brother, but he's also going to spend time with the basketball staff this weekend. Austin Gooseby, offered by Texas, Kansas, Oklahoma, and about everybody else. 2026 6'5" shooting guard who may have a pro future. So basketball, big recruiting month coming up for the Horns, and thanks to Ty Larson for saying hello.
Yeah, that's awesome. Good stuff, Jerry. I appreciate that. All right, here's one. Speaking of, Rod B just got a thank you, a hello from a Notre Dame fan.
I went on a Notre Dame podcast.
Nice.
A few months ago.
And he came up and said hi. But look, he's down here at the
Spread
co-op
the love,
buying
man.
here. He's spending money.
Hey, thanks, UT boy. UT boy. I got Jonte Cook as the leading receiver tomorrow. There we go.
Hey, and I want to throw this up, UT boy, because I think you weren't on the chat at the beginning. I was told about 2 hours ago, Jonte Cook had a tremendous last third of fall camp. He's ready to roll tomorrow.
Oh, UT boy, he shouldn't have said that. Now he's gonna go out drinking or something. Celebrate. Taking shots of tequila tonight.
Hey, guys, look, it's been a long off season, but we're ready for it. I'm ready for it. I think we all are. Steve Sarkisian and his group, I think, are chomping at the bit. There is just no doubt that tomorrow, I think it's going to be fun at the stadium. If you're not available and to be at the stadium with us, you can check us out here on Texas football. We've got a number of different things coming to you tomorrow morning. Rod, you and me and CJ start the Saturday conversation off.
Yes, sir.
We're talking Texas, Colorado State. We're also going to talk some of the big other games out there, Miami, Florida, as well as Notre Dame, A&M. That's obviously the one we're going to talk about. Then we have the Texas tailgate over at the Flat Creek Estate Wine Garden. Then we've got the watch with us. If you're at home and can't come to the game, or just want to turn your TV down, you can listen to Aaron Hogan, Rod Babers, Jerry Hamilton, Bob Shipley, the whole crew. And then we have the post-game live immediately following the game, sponsored by our friends over at Flight by Yingling. We will have that going, and it will be wall-to-wall coverage of the opening game of this 2024 season, one that really gets us excited. I'm looking at it, Rod, before we leave here today. I'm going to ask you for closing thoughts. Jerry, I want to get your closing thoughts about this offseason and about us going into 2024.
Well, Sark said it at SEC Media Days, and I like the way he put it because I've heard a lot of old school Texas fans put it the same way. The standard is the standard. And now it seems like the guys understand that, whether it be practicing to that standard, make sure the culture is up to that standard, or playing to that standard. And that's going to be the test, right? I believe it was Bobby Bowden who said it years ago, that when you first take a job, you lose big, then you lose close, then you win close, then you win big. This is the year where Texas is supposed to win big. Now they're going to the SEC, but I want to see them play to a standard this year. Last year, they found a way to win. They were a clutch team. They had 8 one-score games last year, found a way to pull them out in clutch time in critical moments. So that's definitely maturity. But I want to see them now start to play to a standard week in and week out. That's a championship standard, not to a competition that starts with Colorado State. We'll see how deep that culture goes for Texas. But I think they're ready this year to start winning decisively and playing to that standard.
Jerry, what about you?
Look, for me, it's an offensive line that was the backbone of this program being built in 2022. The Kelvin Banks, DJ Campbell, Cole Hudson, Connor Robertson, Malik Ogbo, that group of guys. This is their 3rd year in the program. This is the year when those guys should take the really big step together and truly become one of the best offensive lines in the country. And if they do that, Quinn will have a really good year and Texas will have a really good season. Then the second thing for me is the other position that I think Sark's built up. We can talk about quarterback. We can talk about all those things. But offensive line, number one, a first-round draft pick at left tackle. It's been how long since Rod Babers was playing? Since Texas had a first-rounder on offensive line and tackle. But then it's edge position. For years, Texas struggled rushing the quarterback, rushing the passer. Now they have the parts and the depth to do that. I think if those two positions maximize, then Texas is going to have a hell of a season. Does that mean they're going to win a title? I don't know. Georgia doesn't know if they are. Ohio State doesn't know. We don't know. 12-team playoff, all bets are off. You still got to win 3 games to get it done in a short amount of time. But I will say this. If those two positions maximize for Texas, I think Texas has a really good problem.
Mine is I'm going to go back to what I said 5 minutes ago. I want to see Texas galvanize into a elite program, and that means remember how Mac Brown, when he came in, had a really good year with Ricky first, right? The second year is a little step back. They got their hat handed to them in the Cotton Bowl by Arkansas. Major was injured and all that stuff. I want to see Texas not go back, and so I'm all about no regression in 2024. I know that's not a rallying cry by any stretch. It's not remember the Alamo. I mean, it's no regression. It's not one of those great ones. But my point being, that's what you need to take this step, because you want Texas to be Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan now. You want Texas to be seen on par with those guys. You know what? Win 10 games 2 years in a row. Win 11. Get the college football playoff talk. Do it consecutively, and all of a sudden you're seen differently. And recruiting becomes easier or more straightforward, I would say. There's a lot of byproducts that come by putting back-to-back good football years together. Yeah. And that's what I want for the University of Texas. So, all right. Hey, that's going to do it for this afternoon. Thank you to the folks at the co-op. So much appreciate you guys allowing us to do this. We did it last year as well. Been tremendous here. Adrian and the folks at the co-op just help us out a ton. Also, thank you to 40 Acres Apparel, the best Longhorn apparel there is by far, in my opinion. That's 40 Acres Apparel. They've got a whole section here at the co-op. Then also thank you to the 40 Acres. Also thank you to Flat Creek Estate Winery. We'll be out there tomorrow. We're going to the victory lap right now. We'll see you all over there. If you happen to be in town, come hang out for about an hour and a half over at the victory lap for Jerry Hamilton, Rod Babers, as well as our producer, Matt Hutchinson. I'm Bobby Burton. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Welcome.
Welcome.